Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mid-Speed Live class. Let's get started with some common words. Here we go. Ready? Evening, books, January, change, cost, short, charge, happy, dinner, class, remember, enclose, run, misses, unable, stay, real, busy, young, already, small, almost, paid, world, Sunday, weather, early, buy, everything, remittance, opportunity, goods, large, open, Saturday, letter, doubt, gone, 5, perhaps, second, prompt, can't, accept, near, do, giving, within, wanted, whole, imagine, sort, market, till, wife, memorandum. All right. Names and addresses. Here we go. Ready? Judy M. Packard, Packard, Northeast Wisconsin Tech Institute, 1601 University Drive, Marionette, Wisconsin, 54143. Mr. Michael L. Bratcher, Bratcher, Talent Search Office, P.O. Box 3629, Monticello, Arkansas, 71650. Mr. Hemel A. Patel, Patel, 571 Piedmont Circle, York, Pennsylvania, 17404. Ms. Dolores C. Grand, Grand, 8336 South May Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60620. Mr. Patrick J. Cordon, Cordon, 4920 Brookswood Road, number 3, Youngstown, Ohio, 44512. Career Center, Rubidoux High School, 4250 Opal Street, Riverside, California, 92509. Ms. Marilyn R. Brumbagh, Brumbagh, Business Education Department, Alliance High School, 400 Glamour Avenue, Alliance, Ohio, 45601. Okay. My next drill is going to focus on the following basic briefs. We've got telephone, TEFL. Operate is PR long AT, prate. Operation is PR long AGS, pration. Service, SR, final F. So SR on the initial side, final F. Here we go. She wanted a Mickey Mouse telephone cover. Do not use the telephone to call. Telephone the marshal immediately. You may use the telephones in the hall. There are 3 telephones over there. All of their telephones needed repair. We telephoned the sheriff when we could. Have you telephoned ahead to reserve it? You should have telephoned me earlier. Are you telephoning him for his orders? I am telephoning the doctor right now. Telephoning will be the fastest way. John was in the service for 4 years. Did you ask for maid service today? That repair shop gives very good service. It is time to get the usual servicing. The servicing was thorough and prompt. It is smart to have him do the servicing. The car is being serviced on Saturday. The machine is serviced every month. You should have your machine serviced. What time are the services being held? He services the machinery regularly. The church services are daily at noon. On what basis do they operate? They will operate on capital funds. Can he operate this new machine? It is operated by another company. I do not know how it was operated. I have operated this machine before. The company operates in many places. He operates on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is the machine which he operates. He was gone during the operation. He was in charge of the new operation. Any operation may now be necessary. Do you know the operations of the office? Many new operations will be started. He has 3 operations scheduled. Is the new design operational at last? When it is operational, we will inform you. When will you know that it is operational? The doctor is in the operating room. Who is operating this department? I would recommend operating now. Is the telephone service operational? The telephone needs servicing. He is operating a telephone service. Hi, Pandora. How are you? Are you on mute? I don't think I muted. Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
I think it mutes automatically.
Yeah, I think so too.
On. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saved the drill in case she came in. I saved the one that so
good.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Right, so these words are gonna start with KRKL, SHSL, BLGR, PLPR. Okay, so here are your words. Cry clear, crow clip, crab clock, crime clam, crude club, crane clog, crib class, creep clown, cream clerk, cram close, cross clean, crowd clap, shut slow, shade sleep, sheet slug, shin slab, shoe slight, shack sled, shed sleet, shave slip, ship slum, shine slope, share slat, shock slide, glow grass, glue, grope, glide, grub, glee, grid, glob, greet, glass, grow, gloom, grace, glad, greed, glove, grin, glaze, gross, glen, grail, glad, green. Oh, that was supposed to be glade, green, plate, pray, plus, press, plight, prune, plod, prove, plug, price, plea, pride, play, probe, plow, prick, ply, prize, place, prim, ploy, prep, plush, prime. All right. Now, words that end with shun endings, and then at the bottom of this, after the words, I've got some sentences. Okay, here we go. Passion, fusion, lotion, notation, ammunition, revolution, mission, nation, vision, convention, education, transmission, quotation, invention, provision, possession, extortion, violation, ocean, portion, lesion, permission, litigation, addition, nutrition, reception, frustration, rotation, donation, confusion, desecration, infusion, precision, ration, cushion, session, omission, incision, acquisition, decision, carnation, division, implication, confrontation, citation, anticipation, vocation, partition, tradition, consultation, retention, concussion, suspicion, depression, emission, invitation, profession, munition, incarnation, discretion, persuasion. And then here are the sentences that go with that. It is your contention that a fusion is necessary. I think he made the right decision about the partition. My inclination is to go with the tradition. My anticipation turned to depression and frustration when I saw the state of confusion. Education in nutrition has advanced. You should have a cushion for that long session. Did you have a ration card? You may get a citation. Where do you want the partition? He is going to need a blood transfusion. We relied on his discretion. The ocean liner was immense. They are seeking donations for their cause. Do you have permission to swim in the ocean? That cushion is hard. He had a gun, but no ammunition. Court reporting is the profession I have chosen. My car needs a new transmission. He had his suspicions. All right. Now, going over some medical terms. Oh, I muted you just because I could hear the TV, so I went ahead and muted, okay? Okay, I didn't want you to look up and go, why is it muted again? All right, so here are some medical words, and I will spell the ones that are a little bit more tricky, okay? All right, here we go. Ready? Visceral, VISCERAL. Chiropractic, vaginal, melanoma, MELANOMA, radiologist, atrophy, spurt, headache, anterior, vessel, fever, spinal, atrophic, ATROPHIC, obstetrics, OBSTETRICS, onychomyosis, ONYCHOMYOSIS. Now, under that, they also have onychomycosis, and that one is spelled ONYCHOMYCOSIS. There's two of them there. Acromegaly, ACROMEGALY. Hysterectomy, renal, gushing, hydrotherapy, intravenous, INTRAVENOUS, myopathy, MYOPATHY, laparoscopy, LAPAROSCOPY. And the last one is retrograde. All right, not too bad. Okay, so my last drill is going to be sentences that focus on initial consonants BR. BR, here we go. That branch of the river is wider. Brand names are not necessarily better. His bradycardia didn't bother him. I will have brandy after dinner. He was a brash young man. Catch the brass ring on the carousel. They wore brassards on their arms. The brassy brats brattled around. We have brave soldiers. He displayed his brawn by brawling. Did you ever hear a donkey bray? She was known as a brazen person. Bravado is a pretense of bravery. Let's take a trip to Brazil. Water pressure caused a breach in the dam. Bread is the staff of life. Bream are not hard to catch. He broke his breastbone in the accident. Hold your breath as long as you can. Vodka leaves you breathless. All right. We'll do some jury charge. This is general jury charge. So let me give you a word list. You're going to hear evidence, arbitrary, experience, SP long ERNS, qualified experts, special knowledge, sufficient, hypothetical, propound. Let's see here. Oh, you're going to hear probable, which is PROBL, and you're also going to hear possible, which is POBL. So that's a good one to practice with. That's about it. All right. So I will read this. I'll start this. Well, this is our first one. I'll read this at 1:20. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let me just date this. Okay. Can't believe we're almost halfway through December. All right. Here we go. Ready? In determining the effect, weight, and value of the evidence that is presented before you, the law does not permit you to act in an arbitrary manner, but requires that you carefully consider all of the evidence and to give to such evidence that weight to which, when measured by your reason and experience, it is entitled. A person is qualified to testify as an expert if he has special knowledge, skill, experience, training, or education sufficient to qualify him as an expert on the subject to which his testimony relates. Duly qualified experts may give their opinions on questions in controversy at a trial. To assist you in deciding such questions, you may consider the opinion of the expert who testifies, with the reasons given for it, if any, by the expert who gives the opinion. In examining an expert witness, counsel may propound to him a type of question known in the law as a hypothetical question. In such a hypothetical question, the witness is asked to assume a set of facts to be true and then to give an opinion based on that assumption. In permitting such a question, the court does not rule and does not necessarily find that all the assumed facts have been proved. It only determines that those assumed facts are within the probable or possible range of the evidence. It is for you, the jury, to find from all the evidence whether or not the facts assumed in a hypothetical question have been proved. And if you should find that any assumption in such a question has not been proved, you are to determine the effect of that failure of proof on the value and weight of the expert opinion based on the assumed facts. All right. So we'll do a continuation from this book from O.J. Simpson. Okay. All right. So I read a little bit this morning, and now he's kind of reminiscing when he was a kid and how his parents got along even though they were divorced. So he's sitting out in his front yard, kind of hitting some golf balls. Can you see me?
I read somewhere that O.J. Simpson's father was gay.
Really?
Yeah, I think I saw that on like a Facebook thing.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah. So
Interesting.
who knows?
Yeah,
Anyway,
who
go ahead.
knows? Huh. That's interesting. Well, he's talking about how, you know, he and his mom and dad always got along even though they were divorced. So he's, you know, sitting there
That's
thinking,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we go. If it was a question of discipline, though, my father took care of it. And when I say he took care of it, I mean he took care of it. In those days, there were whippings, and everyone knew it. You didn't go crying to child welfare or any of that shit, because 9 out of 10 times, if you got a whipping, you almost certainly deserved it. Hell, I know I did. Then one day, when I was 16 years old, the old man and I had a little falling out. My mother called him to say I'd been disrespectful to my sister, and he came by the house and called me into the living room and asked me to tell him what had happened. I told him, and in my version of the story, which I firmly believed my sister had done wrong, my father didn't buy it. He told me to go to my room, and I knew I was supposed to go in there and wait for him to come in and deliver his whipping. But as I waited, I decided I wasn't going to get a whipping. I didn't deserve it, and there was no reason in hell I was going to let him raise his hand to me. When he came into my room, I told it to him straight. You're not going to whip me, I said. What did you say, boy? You heard me, I said. You're wrong this time. You try to whip me, and I'll kick your ass. It was pretty tense. I had defied him, and he didn't like it one bit, but he could see that things had changed. I was almost as big as he was by then, and I knew I could take him. And so did he, I guess. He left my room without saying a word to me, angry as hell. And for the next 10 years, we didn't talk to each other. That's right. We went 10 years without speaking. He would come over and hang out, and we even sat at the same Christmas table together, but we never spoke, and everyone knew we didn't speak. It was like family lore. The boy defied him, and they haven't spoken a word to each other in years. A decade later, when I was married to my first wife, and with my marriage already in trouble, he was at my house in Los Angeles celebrating Thanksgiving with the family. And I turned to him and said something about some football game. And man, the whole room went silent. It was like I could hear my own heart beating. Everybody was staring at us. He talked to him. Did you hear that? OJ talked to him. And my father just answered like it was the most natural thing in the world, like our decade of silence had never happened. And that was the day we started talking again. I think on some level, I had always blamed him for my parents' marriage not working out. And over the years, I had come to see slowly that maybe I'd been a little hasty about passing judgment. I had simply assumed he was the bad guy, but I had nothing to back it up. And while he'd been there for me as a father, I guess I was still angry at him because I wanted what every kid wants, both parents together under one roof. Now, here it was years later, with my own marriage failing, and I began to see that there were really two sides to every story, and that maybe my father wasn't such a bad guy after all. I'm not suggesting I was fully conscious of this, mind you, but I believe that on that Thanksgiving afternoon, with my own marriage in trouble, I began to see that I'd been pretty hard on him, and that whatever else had happened, he had always been there for us kids. That was an important lesson for me. And that night, sitting on the low wall in front of my house, my stomach rumbling, thinking about all of this, it hit me with a weird kind of clarity. If you fuck up your marriage, you try not to fuck up your kids. I'm always surprised when people talk like that, like it's no big deal. It's hard for me to say, and I know I have to say it because everybody has to get used to writing it, but isn't that amazing that people just talk like that? Like it's
Yeah.
just a regular word.
Yep.
I know. I just cringe sometimes when I have to say that.
Sounds like OJ.
Yes, it does, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and start some Q&A. This is going to be a one-page Q&A. I'm going to read this once at 120, another time at 140, and then again at 160. And your word list is railroad, trestle, abreast, approximately, embankment, sharply. Oh, you're going to hear whoa, like WHOA, like whoa. All right. That's about it for the word list. This is just going to be Q&A with defense. Okay, here we go. Did you have any trouble with your horse after you turned south on the east side of the trestle? Yes, I did. Would you describe what that was? Well, we were riding 3 abreast at that point. The horse started gaining speed. What did you do about it? I tried to stop him. Well, what did you do? I pulled back on the reins and said, "Whoa." How did you pull back? Hard? With both reins. Just as hard as you could? As hard as I could. All right. And the harder I pulled, the faster he ran. I realized he was running away with me. I kept pulling back and saying, "Whoa," but he still wouldn't stop. All right, what happened next? I knew I was coming up to the second trestle. You mean the railroad trestle? Yes, that's half a mile up from the first trestle. Is that right? Yes. Go ahead. In order to get under it, he had to turn to the right and then again to the left. When I got approximately 100 feet from it, I went down an embankment and to the left. I could see the trestle ahead from that point. All right, so we'll do it again at 140. Did you have any trouble with your horse after you turned south on the east side of the trestle? Yes, I did. Would you describe what that was? Well, we were riding 3 abreast at that point. The horse started gaining speed. What did you do about it? I tried to stop him. Well, what did you do? I pulled back on the reins and said, "Whoa." How did you pull back? Hard? With both reins. Just as hard as you could? As hard as I could. All right. And the harder I pulled, the faster he ran. I realized he was running away with me. I kept pulling back and saying, "Whoa," but he still wouldn't stop. All right, what happened next? I knew I was coming up to the second trestle. You mean the railroad trestle? Yes, that's half a mile up from the first trestle. Is that right? Yes. Go ahead. In order to get under it, he had to turn to the right and then again to the left. When I got approximately 100 feet from it, I went down an embankment and to the left. I could see the trestle ahead from that point. All right, so last time at 160. Here we go. Did you have any trouble with your horse after you turned south on the east side of the trestle? Yes, I did. Would you describe what that was? Well, we were riding 3 abreast at that point. The horse started gaining speed. What did you do about it? I tried to stop him. Well, what did you do? I pulled back on the reins and said, "Whoa." How did you pull back? Hard? With both reins. Just as hard as you could? As hard as I could. All right. And the harder I pulled, the faster he ran. I realized he was running away with me. I kept pulling back and saying, "Whoa," but he still wouldn't stop. All right, what happened next? I knew I was coming up to the second trestle. You mean the railroad trestle? Yes, that's half a mile up from the first trestle. Is that right? Yes. Go ahead. In order to get under it, he had to turn to the right and then again to the left. When I got approximately 100 feet from it, I went down an embankment, and to the left, I could see the trestle ahead from that point. How'd you do?
Eh, I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm just, I'm plugging along.
Yeah, that's okay
So,
though. That's all right. That's completely fine. How are we doing on time? Oh, good. All right. So let me, this is going to be defense questioning. It's a deposition, so plaintiff will jump in. Okay. And this is, let's see. Yeah, this is an accident. All
I
right.
love accidents.
Yay.
I mean,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know. Oh, all right, here we go. And what year? 1995. You've indicated that at the time you had the accident, you felt pain in your neck and back and certain other areas of your body. You were then taken to the hospital, and it may be Eisenhower, but I'm not going to hold you to that. You were there for 4 or 5 hours and then went home. You were taken home by your husband, Mr. Bueller. When did you next seek or obtain medical attention? Approximately the day after or the day after that. I'm not positive. Where did you go to get that treatment? My family doctor. And who was that? Dr. Beret. And the spelling of his last name, please. It's Barrett or Barrett. I'm not sure. Can you give him his first name or initials? No. Where was his office located? In Alta Loma. And were you taken from the hospital in the desert area? Was that in the Alta Loma area? No. Where was your home at that time? Mount Baldy. And what is the address? I don't remember the address. Did you reside there before the accident occurred? Yes. And whom did you reside with? My husband, ex-husband. This is William Bueller. William Bueller. Did anyone else reside at that place of residence besides you and Mr. Bueller? No. Did he take you to see Dr. Beret? Yes. And did you call to make an appointment to see him before? Yes. And do you recall what time of the day you saw him or he saw you at his office? Afternoon. Had you seen him before that day? Yes. When did you first see him as a physician? Maybe 3 years prior. Was there any particular reason that you saw him 3 years earlier? Periodic illness, flu, and I'm not saying you had the flu, but colds and general health conditions? Yes. Did you see any other doctor during the 3-year period before this accident? No. Does that doctor have any medical specialty? Just general practitioner. From what you indicated, you saw him either the day after the accident or 2 days after the accident? Yes. When you saw him, did you tell him what was bothering you? Yes. To the best you can recall, did you tell him what was bothering you? Or what did you say was hurting you? Headaches, nausea, back pain, depression, anxiety. As far as you can best recall, that's virtually verbatim what you told the doctor? to the best. Do you understand what that means verbatim? No. I'm sorry. As far as you recall, is that literally the words you used in talking to the doctor? I can't recall if those were the exact words. No, I can't say for sure. Does that seem to be descriptive of what you said? Yes. And did that doctor examine you? Yes. Can you briefly describe or generally describe what kind of examination he made? No. When you talked to him on that first visit following the accident, did you feel that you were mentally alert? No. How would you describe your mental condition or capabilities at that time? Irrational. When did you first become irrational following the accident? The next day. The accident occurred on April 8, 2009, as I understand it. Yes. When did you first become aware, or how did you become aware that you were irrational? I realize that's a compound question. I was just going to object. Okay, when did you first become aware that you were irrational? Lack of appetite, is that what you mean? I'm really kind of thinking time of day, where you were, and how you felt it. Those are three different things. I'm not entitled to ask you those. Let's start out. You mentioned lack of appetite. Was that one of the reasons that you felt that you were irrational or realized you were irrational? One of the things, yes. What other things caused you to believe that you were irrational? Counsel, that assumes that she comprehended that she was irrational at that time. She may not have realized that. I appreciate she is a lay person, just when she thought she was. Maybe it would be more reasonable to ask her what things. Well, go ahead. It's your examination. What abnormal feelings or circumstances did you feel the day after the accident, which may have led you to think you were irrational? Depression, not wanting to be around people, feeling guilty, feeling fear, not able to handle the workload, not feeling capable to handle the workload. What workload did you feel incapable of handling? The clients. By whom were you employed in April of 2009? Self. And what type of business or profession or service were you in? Cosmetologist. What was your place of business at that time? House of Beauty. Can you tell him where that is located? 284 North 2nd Street in Upland. Did anyone else work at that place of business? At that time, yes. And how many people? 2. And who are they? I can't remember their names. When did you first start to work at the House of Beauty? At that time, I'd had the business 2 years. You've used the term had the business. Were you the owner of the business? Yes. And from whom did you buy the business, if anyone? I don't remember the last name of the party. The first name was Shirley. What was the nature of the business? A hairstyling salon. You purchased the business 2 or 3 years before, you've told me, and I'm not trying to. When did you purchase the business? Do you mean what year? Yes. I don't recall. Do you recall how long you had owned it? At this point in time? Yes, referring to the date of the accident in April of '09. I figure approximately 2 years, maybe 3. Did you have an accountant for the business? Yes. Who was that? His name was Chuck Bouse. Chuck Bouse? Bouse. And how do you spell the last name? B-O-U-S, something like that. B-O-U-S-E. I'm not sure. Was he an accountant or a bookkeeper? Or do you know what his... He was not an accountant. He wasn't the certified. I think he was the other. Where was his business located? Ontario. And on what street? Euclid. Do you recall the address? Is that a no? No, sorry. That's okay. You need to say yes or no, okay? Okay. How long had he been your bookkeeper? Since we had the business. You then used the term we. Who is we? My ex-husband and I. Is that Mr. Bueller? Yes. Was he also a cosmetologist? No. What was his business? What was his occupation at the time you bought the business? Grocery checker. Where is he located at this time? I don't know. When did you last have contact with Mr. Bueller? Last year. And where did he reside at that time? Where did who reside? Mr. Bueller. Mount Baldy. Do you know where he lived, in or on Mount Baldy? On a hill. Any address? I don't recall. Had you lived at that same location when you were married to him? Yes. Do you recall what that address was? No. Do you still own the House of Beauty? Yes. And do you work there at this time? Yes. You do hair? Yes. Do you have any employees at this time? No. Therefore, you yourself are the House of Beauty, as it were? Yes. How many hours per week do you work there? It's different every day. How many hours either per day or per week? Sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 8 hours, depending on how much I think I can handle. Does it somewhat depend upon how much business is coming in? No. By that, well, let me ask you this. On New Year's Eve day, are you pretty busy? No. Why are you not busy on New Year's Eve day if there is any reason? Well, this year, I'm talking about last year, I was fairly busy. The economy now is kind of slow, and I think that has something to do with New Year's Eve day not being too busy. Also, I book myself so I can handle it and so I don't get frustrated over too many bookings. In a sense, you guide your bookings according to how you feel and the amount of business you think you can handle. Yes. Is there any reason why you feel at times that you have to limit the business that you can take? Most of the time. What is the reason for that? If I'm too busy, then I get frustrated. I don't feel I can do the proper work on the customers if I don't feel capable. What causes you to feel frustrated? Too big of a heavy workload if I overbook myself? And when you mentioned overbooking yourself, what do you feel consists of overbooking yourself? Well, I used to be able to do 23 to 14 people a day. I'm sorry, once again, 23 to 40? 23 to 14 people a day. Haircuts, colors, etc. that you would do in a shop. and now I feel lucky to push 7. You used to be able to handle 23 a day. To 14? Yeah. 14 is a number lower than 23. Yes, that was my average day of customers. Used to be. And now 7 is the max. That's the max. Yeah, that's pushing it. Are you basically doing the same type of services now that you did before the accident? Yes. You mentioned haircuts, colors, whatever. The same? Yes. It's funny that she used
I
23
know.
to 14. I think that attorney was like, why are you going down?
I know, right?
Yeah.
23 to 14. Okay.
I know. That's why I kind of laugh, because sometimes you can like just envision what the attorneys like they're scratching their head like, did you say 23 to 14 or 23 to 40?
Right? I know. I thought, maybe she misspoke. No,
Yeah.
no, 14.
Yeah, 23 to 14. I know. I'm sure the reporter too was going, huh? Yeah. Oh, man. Well, how was that? Not very well. And I started at 120 and worked my way all the way up to 160. And that was a lot of,
Yeah.
practice. So
Yeah.
that's okay
Yeah.
though. I mean, think of it as the runner that goes out and they have an off day, but they still got their workout in. So
Yeah. I'm just, oh gosh. Oh, excuse me.
I have tryouts tonight for roller derby and I'm like so tired, but I need to wake up,
Yeah.
So our tryouts will be from 7 to 9:30.
That's a long time.
Yep.
So what do you do with tryouts? Do you just watch people, or is it like an interview, or what is it?
We have tryouts for our travel team for the new year.
Uh-huh.
We had our last game on Saturday. Now our year is up. So we'll have it starting after Thursday. We'll have a break until the new year, but they have tryouts now while everybody's still in shape.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll announce who's on the top team, travel team, who's on the second travel team. So it's kind of they have coaches that come from other leagues and they watch you and they grade you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll tell you like, skate across the floor on 1 foot, skate backwards, go hit that girl, and then we see how hard you can hit her. Yeah, exactly. And then they have a
So
game.
you guys really do that, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, my friend, one of my best friends, she's an RN. She's an OB/GYN RN, labor and delivery nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And she broke her ankle on Saturday night at our game. I know.
That's not good.
No, because the girl hit her and she just turned it wrong. So I know. So
I wasn't sure if you were nicer about it now, but it's all in fun, right? I mean, it's not like you guys, what did you do that for? And get
no,
mad.
I mean, we feel bad. Like you don't mean to hurt people, like it's not intent. I mean, of course you can hit people. Like there's certain rules, like you can hit them with your shoulder or your hips, but you can't use your elbows. You can't use your hands. You can't use your feet. So there's certain areas that you can hit with, but if you hit with your shoulder, you have to keep your arm tucked in. And if they see you do that, then you're going to the penalty box for 30 seconds. So it's kind of like hockey where your team is, you only have 5 out there. So if one's in the box, it's going to hurt your team,
Do you wear quads or blades?
Quads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Roller derby's all quads. And
how fun.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
I used to roller skate all the time. I was a rink rat in the 80s. I was there every Sunday night, every Ventura.
Okay.
Yeah. At Skating Plus.
Oh.
So that was in the early 80s. And then, I just met all of my friends. Well, some of them, met new friends and stuff. And we would hang out. And it's so funny because one night, there was, if you've ever gone the 101 through Ventura, you've passed right by. If you see golf and stuff there, there's there's golf and stuff, which is like mulligans.
Okay.
It's like that. And then there's a bowling alley and then the skating rink.
Okay.
And one night it was after golf and stuff closed, and the skating session was over, and we all went to they just had like a little 3-foot high chain link fence for like they called it Lil Indy, like the race cars and everything, and we climbed over the fence and we were skating on the track and everything. And after a while, just security came by and we're like, okay, everybody get down, and because we were just there to skate,
all that.
No, those were the days. Oh my gosh.
That is so awesome. Pandora.
Yeah. So, but I never could skate backwards. Never could skate backwards. Never got it.
Yeah.
Every time I tried, I ended up in the emergency room more than once with sprained wrists. And
back. Yeah.
Yep.
Well.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Those days are behind me.
You could always go to the rink now and just wear the wrist guards and then learn.
Epic.
And then fall, you're infected.
I'm too heavy. I would die if I was so skinny then, and of course it's good exercise, but it'd probably kill my feet. And I think we got rid of my skates. I mean, I haven't. Plus, they'd be too small now anyway, because after I had kids, my feet grew.
Yeah.
So but I had really nice wheels, and you don't want to use those rentals.
Very expensive. Very expensive.
So boy, that was fun.
I'll have to invite you to a game and you can come watch.
I do. I want to do that. But so when do you start up again? In spring or in January?
In January. And then we're under this, it's called WFTDA, it's Women's Flat Track Association, and we're under they place you according to your level and ability. So it's kind of funny because we play Ventura. Ventura has a derby team and we play them. Mm-hmm. They came to us this season. Now next season we'll go to them.
Oh, maybe you'll skate on the golf course or the golf and stuff little track. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we actually went there the year before because you kind of rotate with the teams that are further out. Mm-hmm. We went to them the year before, and it was an outdoor rink. I do remember that. It was a park that had an outdoor rink.
Is it but it's not like a skateboard park, right? It's because where do you guys?
It's kind of like where they practice for hockey, roller hockey.
Okay, I don't think I've ever seen one of those. And you guys play right over there off of Yanez, right?
Yes.
Because my husband works right over there.
Okay.
But and that's a huge park, right?
Yep,
I mean, is that Harveston over there?
Not. It's It's down further. So if you got off at if you got off at Winchester, mm-hmm. turn left, and you went to the first light, turn right. What is that? Yanez, I think.
Oh, you turn right on Yanez.
Yep.
Like towards the mall.
Yeah, it's actually past the mall in Margarita, but past the mall. And there's a YMCA there. And if you park there, you'll see these huge lights. And you walk down, like as soon as you walk to the edge, you'll see the rink is down. Down. So it's not visible from the street. But you're going to see all these huge lights. So that's where we practice. There's like a water park there for like little kids.
Really?
Yeah. It's like
is it on Margarita?
Yes. Yep.
Is it right next to a school?
Yes. There's a school right on the corner there.
Oh, I think I know. Yeah, I think Moraga.
Yep.
Isn't that Moraga? Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where we practice.
Fun.
Yeah. So that's where we had our game on Saturday night.
Aww.
So, but and the only bummer is if it rains, and of course it gets canceled because it's outdoors and you can't
right
in the rain. But okay, I guess I better run. They told me tonight, they're like, you have to be here on time. So I'm like, okay.
Yep, it's time for me to make tacos. My son passed his permit test.
Oh, that's awesome.
Always fun to go to the DMV,
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Hopefully you had did you guys have an appointment? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But he passed, and so we were in a parking lot today, kind of,
That's awesome. Tell him I said
So,
congratulations.
I will. You know, at least we can teach him how to do it. He doesn't,
Yeah.
because he's 19. So
There you go.
yeah.
At least he's a little older now, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, well, have fun.
Okay, I will. I'll
And,
let you know how it goes.
Okay.
So,
I'll
all
be
right.
talking to you soon.
Okay, yeah. So are you working tomorrow? You won't be in the live class?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, got to work tomorrow morning.
All right. Have a good day at work.
I'm sure it's going to be a total mess.
Oh, man. That's right.
Oh, well.
All right.
You know, that's why I get paid.
That's
the
right.
big bucks.
At least the time goes by quickly, you know?
It does.
It's not a boring job where you're standing around.
Oh, heck no. Not this time of year.
Yeah.
No.
All
righty.
right. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye,
Bye Jill.
Bye.